Hi, my name is Abby Maria.
Hi, my name is Saul.
Wendell Holland.
Brandon Donlin. Shaheen, not Shaheen.
Hey everybody, this is Mike Gabler, the Alligabler, coming to you live on Survivor Squared.
Survivor Squared.
Survivor Squared.
Survivor Squared.
Survivor Squared. Survivor Squared.
I think the intro video worked. Welcome to the season 2 premiere of Survivor Squared, where we break down Survivor and all other reality shows like it is the world of sports. We're going to have so much fun this season, starting off with a little bit of housekeeping before we get to the grand video where we are ranking every single season of Survivor. Bailey Buffs is just around the corner, but it's been so long, guys. I had to say hi to you. My name is Tony Squares. Thank you for watching. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, help this channel grow. And just so you know, we're going to be doing these live all season long, every Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific throughout the entire season 51, season 52. Hopefully from now until the world comes crumbling down, we will be live every Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific to talk about Survivor and other reality shows in various different ways. If you're watching on YouTube, you can comment on this live video and we can answer your questions as we're going through it. You can make fun of the season rankings as we do it, and because I know Bailey's going to be making fun of mine. And if you're listening on Spotify, we'll be keeping posting there as well as Apple Music for the entirety of this season. But again, that crowd in the YouTube comment section, I think will be a lot of fun to take part in. And I'm so excited to dive in because it's been a while. We have not been on this channel for a few months now because me and Bailey both have been gearing up what we wanted to do for season 2, because season 1 for us was such a success with the interviews and with all the talking that we did, that I think going live is the best way to do it going forward. And if you are a longtime fan of Survivor Squared, I do want you to cross your fingers for what we have planned coming down the pipeline for season 51. Nothing is official yet, but cross your fingers and some very special things could be happening, because I cannot wait for this one either. But without any further ado, the taking care of business is out of the way. We're excited to go live again every Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific from now until the world's over. But it's time to talk about what we're here to talk about: ranking every single season of Survivor. I have my rankings ready to go. Season 50 is now in there. And of course, I could not do this alone, except I have to go with my ride or die, my number one alliance, because she's going to make fun of me and my rankings the whole entire way with her own rankings of the season. So without any further ado, for the first time in season 2, for the first time live on whatever device we're using right now, come on in, Bailey. Let's have some fun. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Tony. I've missed you so much.
I'm pumped, dude. I'm pumped to be here. I'm pumped to be talking about Survivor with you again. You have moved to a new location. You got a nice swanky apartment out there. You got the whole backdrop. We got everything moving. It's a great time to be Bailey.
It really is. Like, I'm thriving right now, man. Life's great. So the only thing missing has been Survivor Squared. So I'm so happy to get the ball rolling, especially with such an epic first episode back. We have so much to cover, so much to talk about, so much to disagree on, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But that's the point, right? I'm excited to hear what people have to say about our rankings. I'm excited to hear what you have to say. I'm a little nervous. I know already. I can just foresee certain things already happening. So I'm excited to just dig in and be back with you.
Yeah, I'm excited too. If this is your first journey into Survivor Squared, I came into this reality world very late. My first season of Survivor that I watched live was season 48. And after that, I watched every single season of Survivor, gave recaps on TikTok and Instagram, and it kind of blew up. And Bailey and I have known each other for years. We went to college together, and Bailey has been a Survivor super fan since day one. So it was just natural for us to have these conversations with each other on this podcast, with me, the guy who comes in thinking he knows everything starting in 2025, and Bailey, the person who's been here since the jump. And Bailey, for the new viewers out there, again, you have a very interesting relationship with Survivor, because before Survivor all began, you were a little toddler, you were a little 3-year-old just hanging out in the worlds of, where was it, Seattle? And I have to ask, Bailey, before Survivor began, who was your babysitter again?
So, and not only my babysitter, I mean, he was in the hospital when I was born, but Jeff Probst, everybody. Jeff Probst. I've known him since I was a child. He's responsible for a nice little scar I have up here because he was not
We
a
don't
good
need to say that.
babysitter.
We don't
No,
need to say
we'll
that.
say
part.
that. No, he knows. He knows. But okay, it wasn't like that. He's just a bad babysitter, but he's much better hosting. So I think he's found his lane. But yeah, I mean, my family, we all started watching day one, season 1, episode 1, because we were supporting our friend Jeff. We had no idea this behemoth that it would become Survivor, but like we just started watching to support a friend like anyone in the industry does. You watch to support even if you have no idea what it's about. And just through that, not only did I like just fall in love with what the show was, but like I've had such a personal, like heartfelt connection to it for so long. It's just meant so much to me in my life. So yeah, to get to talk about it with you, a new viewer, in such a different perspective of it, it's just been so fun and fascinating for me.
Mm-hmm. And we are leaving the world of Survivor 50. That's going to be the final entrance on this list here. And we are entering another newbie season with season 51 right around the corner. We're going to be breaking all that down with power rankings. We're going to hope to get many interviews going to talk about what season 51 could be. But the season 50 experience for us personally, Bailey, not just doing this show, but we were at the live finale of season 50. So we really got into the thick of it with this whole world of season 50. So we got to see Jeff Probst as the babysitter before Survivor, all the way to Jeff Probst as the season 50 host who eliminates Rizzo before Rizzo can be eliminated on TV. It's been a wild ride, an absolute wild ride. But I think it's time, without any further ado, to break down every single season of Survivor. And we're going to do this 10 at a time. Me and Bailey are going to go over here. If you're watching on YouTube, we're going to have the list next to us 10 at a time. For the people listening at home, I'll read off the list 10 at a time as we go, and then Bailey and I can go through them one by one and have our disagreements. But to start off, we have to start off at the bottom with numbers 50 through 41. And hopefully you can see on your screen right now, this is my personal ranking of every single season of Survivor. Starting out with number 50, it's season 39, Island of the Idols. 49 comes in season 32, Khao Rang. 48 is season 5, Thailand. 47, season 22, Redemption Island. Number 46 is season 42. I call it David versus Goliath 2. That's Jonathan's season. 45 is season 21, Nicaragua. 44 is season 48. I call it Dynamic Duos. It is my first entrance into the world of Joe Hunter, Kyle, and Camilla. Number 43 is season 12, Exile Island, Cerie's first season. Number 42, this is probably the biggest disagreement with everyone. It's season 15, China. And then finally, number 41, season 26, Karamoan, which is a returnee season where everything goes wrong except for the champion. So Bailey, off the jump, what sticks out to you here with your biggest disagreement out of the bottom 10?
Well, you called it. I can't believe you have China in the bottom 10. I mean, I had that ranked 10. I had that as my 10th on the list of 50. So the fact that you have it at 42, we are just jumping right out of the gate disagreeing. I will give you. I also have Island of the Idols as 50, Thailand as 49, Khao Rang is in there. Yeah. So we're similar with some of those, but I'm very, very curious specifically to hear your reasoning about China because I vastly disagree. So I'm
let's
curious
start there.
What you have to say.
You say you have China in your top 10 at number 10. So let's start right there. Why do you believe China, season 15, with Todd and Amanda Kimmel and Courtney Yates, why do you believe that is a top 10 season of Survivor?
Because I feel like it is such a historic season of Survivor. I think specifically when I was watching, getting to 10 was a major thing. Like that was a huge thing for this show that no one had heard of to make it even to the 10th season. And I just loved, I love James being blindsided with having 2 idols in his pocket. And the final tribal council I thought was so interesting. I thought even just where it was filmed was so fascinating.
It was gorgeous.
China is so vastly different from any other location we've had. I'd argue in all 50 seasons almost. It's up there in probably my top 5 of unique locations that they filmed. So I think there's just something very nostalgic about China for me too. I liked Todd. So like seeing him win too, I was happy with that winner. So for me, China's just always been one of those seasons that I've held in high regard. So and maybe it is more nostalgia purposes, honestly, but I just thought there was a lot of interesting gameplay there. And Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so tell me why you hated it.
Well, the reason why I have it so low, because you are absolutely right. A gorgeous location, and they had the what was it? The reward challenges where they're going off to the temples and all this stuff. Like so much
Yeah.
unique moments in China that we just don't have anymore, especially because we're on the same island every single season now.
Yeah.
But the reason I have China so low is the same reason why I have a myriad of these early seasons in this bottom 10,
Yeah.
and that's because I genuinely didn't like the people on the screen. And it's not the
Yeah.
Todds of the world, but in Exile Island, for instance, people love the characters there and how mean Shane was to everybody. They thought it was funny. I'm watching
Yeah.
that in 2025 going, this guy sucks. I don't want him
Yeah.
on my screen anymore. Please get him away. And you hit that over the head with season 39, Island of the Idols. You can't defend that season at all because even if you talk about the gameplay, you talk about Tommy, you talk about anything that happens, you have to start defending that season immediately with, well, if you take away the SA, and you can't take that, like that eliminates the conversation immediately. So season 12, season 32 as well. That's why I have Korong as low as I do. I don't like the people that show centers around. Not talking about the finalists or the winners. I love Aubrey, Michelle Fitzgerald. That was a fun ride. I'm talking about the
Yeah.
story centers around some absolute bullies in Kaorong, in Exile Island, and in China. From the beginning,
Yeah.
there's a fight with the guy who wants to run camp. He wants to build the fire pit, and he's just a dick the whole entire time. And then it keeps on going. I don't think Courtney Yates is a good person on that season. I think she's genuinely mean. JP is genuinely mean. James is roped into being genuinely mean on that season. And Todd kind of treats people disrespectfully as well. You're absolutely right. That final tribal is an end-all be-all when it comes to he destroys final tribal. Amanda throws her whole entire case away and Todd ropes it in. It's a wonderful thing to rewatch. However, when the whole season comes together, I just don't enjoy myself spending time with these people. So that's why I have China as low as I do, Bailey.
I think that makes total sense. And honestly, as you were describing that, I'm almost catching myself a little bit because in some of my notes, I had written that for specific seasons of like, I'm just personally not someone that cares for the bullying and like the just really like there are certain seasons that are filled with a lot of misogyny, a lot of bullying, a lot of just kind of weird behavior, a lot where they were really highlighting villains for a while, like in the teen season specifically. And I think that I've almost given more leeway to that in the past seasons than I have in current seasons. Maybe that's state of the world, maybe that's age and maturity. I don't know. But that's a really good call out, actually, because I think I place more of that negative behavior on newer seasons and I like call it out more. Whereas older seasons, I think I give it a little bit more of a pass sometimes just because of the time that it was made.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's fair. So I like that you said that. That's changing my opinion.
You're also imbibing it during the time it airs when like again the world's in a different place than it was 20, 15 years ago, and maybe I'm too woke for these old Survivor seasons. I don't know, but I definitely didn't enjoy my time. I do love how we're getting the comments in here. Again, thank you, Waffle Iron Walrus. Fantastic name. He's been watching since day one. Love you guys. Happy to have everyone in here. And we do have some arguments for Kaorong. Hands down, Survivor says he'd argue that Kaorong brought more to Survivor than Thailand did, had some unique twists, like voting out a jury member. One of the most unique twists. One of the things that me and Bailey, when we did the top 10 twist, bottom 10 twist show, we wanted to see that brought back. But again, even in that moment, when they vote out the jury member, the guy with the ice cream pants, I forget his name, he was on Aubrey's side. Michelle takes him out, and he rips Michelle apart as he's walking away. He says such mean, hateful things to her, like the whole entire time. And I understand you're taken out of the game, you're brought off the jury. It's a devastating moment. Have some goddamn composure. Like it doubled down on the fact that that moment in particular was that whole season of Kaorong when none of these people you can root for. But Bailey, I do want to mention there are a few on here that aren't for reasons that I don't like the people. I love watching Boston Rob just destroy Redemption Island. I love everyone I've met from season 48. Some of them are really, really close to us on this show. There are some seasons, though, that are just boring. And Boston Rob dominating season 22, season 48, one of the best duos in the world, and Kyle and Camilla. It's not exactly an entertaining watch to have them run through this entire season. So out of China, Is there any other season here that you think deserves to be a little bit higher, or are you ready to move forward to the 30s here?
I'd say the only thing I want to call out is I did rank 48 a little bit higher. Yes,
Mm,
was it incredibly obvious the entire edit that Kyle was the winner and they were focusing on him and we loved Kyle? Yes, but I think something about 48, specifically that cast, I just liked the cast of characters that I felt like we
yeah,
didn't get from a lot of the mid 40 seasons. So for some
yeah,
reason, I felt really attached to 48. Um,
yeah.
and I think that does have to do with the winners in the same way that I feel very attached to Rachel Lamont and Kenzie. Like Rachel, Kenzie, and Kyle were arguably three of my favorite winners in the 40s. So those seasons I do have ranked a little bit higher, but I completely, from like an outside person standpoint, see why it would be ranked there for you.
Yeah, it was a lot higher before I did the rewatch because again, watched it
Mm,
live, fell in love with it. You're always gonna love you first, but then rewatching it, especially knowing what happened, it was like, man, this season kind of drags at points. And there's a lot
yeah.
of really dumb gameplay as well, with Star giving away her immunity idol because Eva opened it for her. Like, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't really make sense
Yeah.
competitively, but there
Yeah.
are some absolutely heartwarming moments. Obviously, we know them. We
Yeah.
get them replayed for us every time Survivor's on TV. And Kyle and Camilla run that shit. Like, they destroy
They do.
that entire
They
game.
run that.
Um,
And anytime even that little clip though of Eva and Joe comes up on my Instagram, I will watch it through
yeah.
every time. It's like a Tom Holland umbrella lip syncing thing. Like no matter how often I've seen it, I will always watch that video all the way through because it
So
hits me in my feels.
let's move on to the next 10, numbers 40 through 31. This is the list in front of you. I'll read it off for the audio only listeners. Number 40, the season that started us all, season 1, Borneo. Number 39, season 36, Ghost Island, Dom versus Wendell. Number 38 is season 35, Heroes, Hustlers, Homeboys, and whatever else they are. Season 3 comes in at number 37, that's Africa, followed quickly at number 36, season 2, The Outback. 35, season 9, Vanuatu, the girls group gets destroyed by one lone man. Number 34, Kim destroys, season 24, One World. Number 33, Boston Rob's entrance into us all. Marquesas, season 4 is at 33. Number 32, season 25, the Philippines. And then finally, number 31, season 44, Caroline Jam, the middleman, comes through in the end. Bailey, is there anything here that you think should be lower, should be way higher? Any China type seasons that stand out to you?
It's crazy because you have it in the exact same spot, but I can't believe the Philippines is ranked so low for you. I also had the
Mm,
Philippines at 11. I think that is one of the most interesting seasons. One of my favorite facts
mm,
about this season also is Denise going to every single tribal council and still winning. She was the first person to do that. I thought that that
yeah.
was so cool. And I loved the cast of characters on this one. I loved the Philippines. I will also just say I'm very thankful that you put 44 where it's at because for some reason, people really loved 44. And that was one of the 40 seasons that I just didn't care for. I love Carolyn. Don't get me wrong. She's
Yeah.
amazing. Yam Yam's great. But like, I didn't care for the gameplay. I thought it was a very lackluster season and it gets
Yeah.
ranked really high in some people's lists. So I like where you put that. I disagree with the Philippines. Borneo hurts my heart. I get why it's there. I get it. But like again, watching that 26 years ago live, watching something I've never seen anything like that on television before, I feel like you almost have to give it a higher ranking just because like respect for the show. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I feel like
Nope. Yep.
Borneo, I put it in the top 10 because I felt like I almost had
The
to.
top
Like I feel like
10.
hell yeah, I got it at 9, baby. I got Borneo at 9 and Philippines at 11 because again, something about that is just so purely innately Survivor that
Okay.
I had a hard time ranking it lower just out of honestly respect almost.
Fair enough for the respect. Let's start off right at Borneo because it deserves the full conversation. The reason why it is so low for me, I watched that season when I was a kid with my family because everyone in America watched that season. I remember,
Yeah.
I don't remember much, but I do remember disliking Sue because she turned on the person I thought should have won, Kelly, at the end. Right.
Yeah.
And I remember that as a young kid having that feeling and watching it again. I was so excited to tap back in because you're right, it's so unique. And even watching it in 2025, 2026, it feels so unique that you can tell these people don't know what's going to happen next. And that is so much fun. However, there is nothing that happens over 12, 13 episodes, Bailey.
Yeah.
It is a nature documentary, which is very cool.
Yeah.
But at the end, there is no gameplay. The reason why Richard Hatch wins is because he's the only one that decides it's a game. We have a dipshit doctor voting based on alphabetical order. Like, nothing makes sense gameplay wise. The characters are so cool to see because nobody has a defense mechanism. The television, like, I'm on reality TV, I need to present a certain version of myself. That doesn't exist. We're getting the real slices of life from these people, which is very cool. The gameplay is terrible. And what ruins it, Bailey, for me, if you watch it now, it's filmed through a potato.
Yeah.
And there's an audio hiss, an audible hiss on almost every interview, like face-to-face interview. So all those confessionals, it's almost annoying to watch because it's grating on your senses watching that today. So that's why I have season 1 Borneo so low. If you could update that and put it in full HD and make the audio quality great, I guarantee you it would be a hell of a lot higher. The gameplay holds it back and the audio and visual quality destroys it. It's the same reason to me why season 2 and season 3 are as low as they are as well, just because nobody knows what they're doing yet. Even in season 4, that's only a little bit higher because Boston Rob is such an absolute, you can't take your eyes off of him. First few episodes of a run, and we get a fun run of the who's going to win at the end. But it's very much so old it hurts. And watching season 2, watching season 3, they're beautiful nature documentaries. But like, and you have like the river come through and take away the camp, and then they have to react to it. Like, I get it. It's so much fun to relive it. However, the quality of the video based on everything else we're doing and the quality of the gameplay just isn't there. We do have a lot of people defending the Australian Outback. Hands down, Survivor writes the Australian Outback is more about the adventure and experience, most survival, than like season at 42 days. And absolutely, if you like that, if you want to watch that sort of like throwback stuff, then absolutely do it. However, I didn't enjoy it. I wanted to get to the actual gameplay, Bailey. I've talked a long time about the older seasons, but what do you have to feel as a person who watched all those live?
I think that's where the biggest like gap is almost in our like retellings of watching these series, because again, yes, I hear you. It is a nature documentary. It's literally just watching people try to survive. There is no strategy. There is no gameplay. There are no alliances or voting blocks or idols or advantages. Like all these things that we know to be Survivor now. Yeah, they didn't exist back then. But I think that's just still why I feel so connected to it. So I hear everything you're saying. And I also think it was very interesting because I've been kind of rewatching certain seasons too. I think there is a very clear shift change when social media started getting popular. And I think that's very, very apparent. Like you said, people that were being cast on these first 10 seasons, even like they're not worried about how they're going to come off or if they're going to be canceled or if they're going to be the edit of the villain. Like those things weren't even on anyone's minds. Like, so you are getting more pure, raw, real people and not performances. So I think just something about that too, like more of the human condition, like psychology study of Survivor in those first seasons. Yeah, it's not as much about the gameplay or strategy. It's more literally about just watching these people from different walks of life try to survive together. And something about that initial intention of the show that I think has gotten a little lost with less days, same location, certain things like that. So I just feel very attached to those seasons for those reasons. But in a list like this, I completely understand. And hey, that's the best part about Survivor. I've been saying this to people before we were recording today. They were like, how are you going to rank 50? And I was like, well, there is no right or wrong. Everyone's going to disagree. And that's okay. That's the point of this. Like, we're supposed to watch these things from different lenses and from different backstories of our own lives. So I hear you on all of your reasons. And yes, I think it would be very interesting to see a season 1 Borneo remastered edition to see if they could fix it a little bit. And maybe that would bring back some of the spark.
I mean, yeah, you're absolutely right. The old version of this, like I remember Ethan and Big Tom cleaning out the dung from the water pit so they could get some water, bring it back, boil it so they could have drinkable water. And now it's just in a barrel that they just go to and scoop out of. So that version is gone from Survivor. But for what we get now, gameplay wise, and yes, there might be too many frills, too many additions, too many twists and turns. We'll argue about that when we get to season 51, when apparently all of them are coming back. But it is so much more entertaining of a game than the game that we have in those early seasons, where we know who's going home from the start of the episode. And that's, it's tough to get that going. I do want to bring up because the comment section is talking about it. Vanuatu is so underrated, says Ryan. Cast was so scrappy, you would not expect Eliza, Chris, Julie, Twyla, and Rory to make the merge when you watch the first 2 episodes. Vanuatu gets a lot of love. It really does.
Yeah.
I dislike Vanuatu, or at least it's this low, for the same reason why that bottom 10 is there. There's a lot of bad people in this season of television. And a lot of bad people make it a long, long way. I did not enjoy watching Twyla on my television screen. 3 scariest females in Survivor history, Waffle Iron says. Number 1, Sue Hawk. Number 2, Twyla. Number 3, Cass.
Yes.
I don't know if I was scared of Twyla as much as I just did not enjoy her. And the fact that we saw this powerful woman alliance, because it was a battle of the sexes, so naturally they're going to make an alliance with each other, just start picking off the men one by one, and yet they could not get over themselves enough to take out that final guy and allow him to weasel his way to the finish. One of the, in my opinion, we're going to do the winners ranking tomorrow, least deserving winners in Survivor history.
Yes.
It is, to
I'd
me,
agree.
It's a great beginning. And the more time you spend with these people, the less I fall in love with the season. I still like it better than an Africa or an Outback, but it is on that list for me. Where did you have Vanuatu on your list of 50 there, Bales?
I had it at 28, so not too far off
similar.
from where you have it. Again, I think a lot, and I said this for some of the 40 seasons, I think a lot of my mindset in how I remember a season is by the winner. Did I like them? Did I dislike them? Was I rooting for them? Was I not? Do I think they deserved it? And exactly like you said, I did not like Chris Daughtry. I didn't like him as a person. I thought he singularly attacked the women one by one throughout his entire season. Again, I know that was the thing. It was battle of the sexes. I get it. But I just didn't care for the person. So seeing him win, it has just never stayed in my mind as a season I've had particularly a positive outlook towards. Do I think there's anything inherently wrong with that season? No, but I also agree with you. The pre-merge kind of episodes, there was a lot more stuff going on. And then in the post-merge, it was just kind of like, okay, I don't really like what's happening. But yeah, so I was pretty close with you there.
Season 9 does have one of my favorite characters ever in Survivor, and that is Amy, the Black Widow herself. I wanted her to do so much more in this season. I fell in love with her completely, and I still am in love with her. And also watching this later in the seasons, and season 9, and knowing that Jeff and Julie ended up dating for a long time afterwards, and seeing one of the grossest makeout pictures you've ever seen in your life taking at a PR event, it might have knocked this season down a few pegs, knowing what I know now. But that is it for numbers 31 through 40. Now we enter the heart of this list, because even when you're going through the rewatches of the world, season 4, that's probably where I'd start, number 33. Like, all of these seasons you can rewatch and have a really good time. Season 24 is pretty boring. I already talked about the later seasons there. But season 30, number 31, 32, 33 on your list you see in front of you, very entertaining. Excited to see the next list, because this is where it gets hard. Like, it's easy for me to say I'm not a big fan of these seasons, and here's why. The seasons that I liked, it's so hard to differentiate where they belong on the list. The top 10, I believe, is fully infallible. Like, my top 10, I will put up against anyone, but it's really hard to decide what goes to number 30 and whether it should be in the top 11, because it's that close of a difference. But numbers 30 through 21 are as follows. Number 30 is season 11, Guatemala. Steph comes back with the captains. Number 29, season 43, Last Gasp. That's what I call it. Gabler wins that season. He's been on our show. Big fan of Gabler. Number 28 on my list is Edge of Extinction. Number 27, season 23, South Pacific coach starts a cult. Number 26, season 30, Worlds Apart. Talk about people you cannot enjoy, but what a victory at the end. Number 25 on my list is season 41, the first season of the new era. Number 24, season 45, that's Femme Fatale D's Victory. Number 23, season 49, Trace Leches. A lot of people hate that season, but I will defend it to my grave. Number 22, season 37, David vs. Goliath, probably consistently amongst the top 10 of every Survivor list. And then finally, number 21 for me, season 8, All Stars. And it hurts putting season 8 at 21. Because talk about when I'm walking through one by one these seasons and I get to season 8, it is so much fun. Yet, after all 50, it comes in at number 21. Bailey, your biggest disagreement is?
David versus Goliath. How dare you?
Okay.
How dare
right.
you? That
Okay.
I have that in my top 10. I have that as my second favorite season of all time. I love David versus Goliath. It's genuinely, no. It's the best cast of characters. It is the most entertaining season. I laughed out loud so many times with Angelina and the whole rice debate and her trying to like debate and like offer things to Jeff and it just not going well. Mike White getting drunk on the challenge and not looking for an idol while everyone else is. Yes, not my favorite winner. I'll say that. Did he deserve it? Sure. But I didn't care for the winner. But God, I was so entertained that entire season from start to finish. I loved the concept. I loved the theme. I loved the people they cast. I think there's a reason we've seen so many of those players return into continual seasons later. It's because it is just so good entertainment value. I love David versus Goliath. I'm so mad at you. Also, all I will say, I completely agree with 49. I think I had it ranked almost in the exact same place because I think it gets way too much hate. We've talked on this. The hype from 50 really overshadowed 49. But again, talk about the people on that show. Like the cast is incredible. There were so many different people. There were so many flip-flopping back and forth, things changing, people on the bottom having to fight their way to the top. It wasn't as theatrical too. It wasn't as many like tactics and stuff. And even Rizzo not using the idol the entire time, just letting it sit in his pocket. They were just using their strategy and their social aspects in that season. And I love the Tres Leches Alliance. I also think that's where we started this podcast, was covering that season. So that will always have a very special place in my heart. And I do think watching that, knowing we were going to be reporting on it, basically, I did watch it with a different lens. So I think that will always stick really, really close to my heart. Everything else here, I pretty much agree with. I love Gabler. He's one of my favorite people. We know this. I love him to death. His season is a little lackluster, but I will say something that brought about was the Al Gabler technique that I think was really kind of curated in that season. And then we've seen it be used in seasons after it, like the way Aubrey just did in 50. That was entirely because of Gabler and his season. So I do think there were a lot of interesting things, even Jesse's whole storyline. It was very interesting season. So I think it doesn't get ranked as high as it should sometimes. So I like it. I like it here. New era, I would probably put lower down.
I was going to say, now that we're getting up in this list, Bailey, we were talking, asking you, like, what did you have ranked higher? Now I would like to know some of them that you would have ranked lower. But before we get to the lower, I do want to touch on David versus Goliath and Trace Leches and season 43. David versus Goliath and season 43, to me, suffer from the same problem in that you were absolutely right about DVG. Amazing cast. Like, amazing cast, amazing concept, the characters that we get out of it. It is so much fun. Please bring themes back, Survivor. DVG is the reason why. However, the same reason season 43 suffers is the gameplay is too good, because we get all of these threats that are so damn good in the mid-game that get taken out because they are the biggest threats. The Jesse Codias of the world get taken out way too early, and neither of them can make a final three, so that final three just ends up being lackluster. The same thing happens in David versus Goliath. All of these threats are there, and in the middle game, we end up with just a lackluster final three. And to me, it really ruins what happens in David versus Goliath, because the first, 8-9 episodes are phenomenal television. And then when you're left with the characters you're like, well, this is how it's going to end. This is how this great season is going to come to a finish. Did I like Mike White lasting the whole time? Absolutely. I thought he should have won that season. But
Yeah, me too.
The final three in totality to me was just such a waste. And so extremely fun. But for a guy who wants to sit here and appreciate this like a sport, it's like the amazing regular season of a sport, and the postseason just falls apart. And we end up with a winner who was like 500 in the regular season that just snuck into the playoffs. So that's why I have DVG so low. Season 43 is a little bit worse, not as charactery as David versus Goliath, but the same problem where the best players eat each other apart before we can get to that final stretch. And it allows that alligator technique to work out so well. Season 49, we've talked about ad nauseum, but the biggest thing is we knew who was going to win because of who was on season 50. That was all leaked, and it really ruined the surprise of that season, because when you watch it 10 years from now, that Trace Leche's alliance at the merge, when Nate gets voted out, Jawan and Sage jump ship, they're at the bottom of 9 people and have to claw their way back. And Savannah does it in such a cocky fucking way, Bailey.
Yeah.
It is awesome to watch. Like, she knows her shit don't stink and backs up everything she does as she's talking. A fantastic victory with Rizzo and Sophie Belardi. You talked about Denise in the Philippines. Sophie Belardi, it's her season. She goes from the absolute bottom with Jake getting medevaced, everything's falling apart, and she lasts all the way to the finish and almost wins, puts up one hell of a case for her to win. It's a fantastic season, one of the best new era seasons, in my opinion. We do have a lot of people here, and I'm getting to the comments section now. I love that you guys are throwing your opinions out there. Please keep doing it. People do love Guatemala. We got a lot of people in here that love Guatemala. Bobby John fighting Jamie, one of the funniest moments in Survivor history, says Ryan. Guatemala, some of the best challenges. I agree. The rainforest mile at the beginning of Guatemala that makes everyone pass out is pretty awesome. We also have, I believe, the first immunity idol in Guatemala, and them trying to search for it is so much fun. And we have, of course, the Guatemala car curse, where someone gets a car, and she made the right decision. I remember that, where like she either got a car or she gave everyone else a car, and they brought up the car curse, and she decides to keep the car herself. I believe she was like a zoologist of some sort. Wonderful cast of characters. Rafe is so good. He gets taken out. Instead of a final 3, we have a final 2. And then Steph loses to Danny at the end. It's just a touch boring in the fact that this strong alliance wins out and slowly picks apart the littler alliance, that it does get kind of boring in the middle. And it was Gary the landscaper, not Gary the NFL player, as we remember. There's a lot of fun moments in here. Bailey, is there any other one? Which one of these is lower on your list? You want to talk about season 41?
I was going to say 41 and honestly, Edge of Extinction. I had Edge of Extinction ranked at 45 on my list.
Oh my God, Bales.
Did not care for that season, in all honesty. Again, I think this has to do, Chris Underwood was not necessarily my favorite winner. Yes, I loved seeing Rick Devens for the first time. I loved having Kelly, Wentworth, and Aubrey. Obviously, there's a lot of icons that were on that season. Yeah. But I just didn't like the Edge of Extinction twist. And I thought that because of that, it's a terrible twist. And the people that got sent there are technically like still possibly going to come back, but like we didn't see them really at all when they're on Edge of Extinction. So it's like they're having almost an entire second season is happening at the same time. And we as viewers are not getting to see any of it. That has always been something that has pissed me off about that season, is that I almost wanted them to like release the unreleased footage of when they're actually on the Edge of Extinction. Let me see that. Let me see what was going on in that gameplay. And so again, I just felt like it was a little lackluster with actually learning about the contestants on that season. And it was just, I will say I liked that they didn't know about the twist until they were voted off. I thought that was a really cool, like interesting way to handle that. But yeah, Edge of Extinction, I know it gets highly regarded, but it's always been one of those seasons that I kind of just skip over, honestly.
I get it.
Yeah. And then 41. Oh, sorry.
Well, hold
Keep
on,
going,
hold
and
on.
then
Let
I'll
me
get
talk
to
about Edge of
41. Yeah.
Extinction for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you're ready to unleash the fucking hammer on season 41. So let's have that conversation alone. Season 38, though, I wouldn't say I hate Chris Underwood. I do have him. Spoiler alert: he's my bottom winner in the when we rank all 50 winners, and it's nothing against his fault. He was voted out, and he plays for 12 days of Survivor. And Bailey's absolutely right. The Edge of Extinction was a whole season of Survivor that we didn't get to see, and it's why Chris Underwood wins, because he gets to spend all that social building time with the jury who is going to vote for him at the end instead of the people who are still on the island and played for the entire time. I love, or I shouldn't say love, I have Edge of Extinction so high because of the theater of that jury. Every time Rick
Yeah.
Devens does something, and he does so many things, that jury is oohing and eyeing like us at home with the popcorn in their hand. It is so much fun to watch it because Rick Devens, as we know now, is playing to that crowd in such a great way and just throwing. He has nothing to lose. When he gets voted out and then he ends up coming back, he comes back with such a sense of freedom that it makes the entire season. And so, yes, you're carried by the comeback players, those first few episodes, like watching these comeback players adjust. And then when Rick Devens comes back, he takes over the whole entire thing and just has such a wonderfully fun ride. And that fire making challenge where Chris decides, I'm going to play and take out Rick. It's one of the best moments in Survivor history. It's one of the best winners moments in Survivor history, Chris making that decision. You wish it happened when Dom and Wendell played together and Dom decided to do it. It cost him the final. But Chris sees that, learns from it, and absolutely destroys it. So while it's not the most entertaining, the worst gimmick in Survivor history, the worst winner in Survivor history, I really enjoyed the season for that reason. And yes, Devens did carry Edge of Extinction gameplay.
100%.
Thank you, hands down, Survivor. I agree. But Bailey, the last thing we want to talk about on this list, I mean, again, it's so hard to delineate these because I could give you 10 minutes on why season 8 All-Stars is number 21 and not number 11. But Bailey, number 25 on my list, right in the middle, season 41. I call it a new era because it is the first new era season. Why do you think it deserves to be so much lower? And where do you have it on your ranking?
I have Survivor 41 ranked at 48 out of 50.
Oh my God.
I thought this season was trying so hard from the get-go because it was our first season back after COVID. I understand that, but it feels like the pressure was so put on these contestants because it was like, COVID, we missed a season. Everyone needs Survivor. This has to be the biggest and best season ever. And again, because of what was happening in the world at the time, I understand, but it tried so hard to be woke and tried so hard to be inclusive, which I love. You know me, I'm a very inclusive person. I'm all about it. But it was trying so hard with the whole conversation of, can I say, come on in, guys? And even everyone on the island being like, yeah, that's fine. You can say that. What? Like, and Erica, I think just her gameplay entirely, like, I don't think Erica did anything that was out of the ordinary or was extra, or I just thought the entire season was completely forgettable. I thought it was trying way too hard. There were too many twists. Why was the hourglass thing in there? That was so dumb. There were multiple options. There were multiple times where they went on journeys and it was like, you can do this and risk this and get that, or you can just do nothing and walk away. What? Why would you have that as an option? What? No, you have to do something. It just, it tried so hard and accomplished so little. That's how I felt about 41. And I will also say it's highly regarded as a lot of people's last season they ever watched of Survivor. A ton of people say that they stopped watching after 41, that just was the nail in the coffin for people of being like, it's not what it used to be. It's too much. And I really do think that was the season that started that conversation of people being like, Survivor's trying too hard and it's trying to be this and it's losing its core, like what it used to be, its roots. And so I'm shocked you have it that high up, especially over Kyle's season, over Gabler's season. Like, I thought that there was more gameplay and cast of characters in those. And maybe I'm being too harsh, but I just really, I never cared for 41. And I think I will also acknowledge that maybe that was me having too high of expectations as well. Like, there's a reason I don't go into movies reading any reviews about it, or I don't want expectations, because if
Yeah.
I think this is going to be the best thing in the world and it's not the greatest thing, then I'm disappointed. So I really have to manage my expectations sometimes when it comes to watching things. But like, I think that was they just hit the hammer so hard of like, the best thing you'll ever, the craziest season of Survivor. And then it was like, no, it wasn't. Why'd you tell me it was? Because it wasn't.
There was
Anyway.
there was a lot of stupid things in season 41 and 42 that we will never see again. I fully
Thankfully.
get that. The fact that everyone has to say a certain phrase in order to get an idol, the fact that we have the hourglass thing that just is absolute. It's not even a decision, the hourglass thing. Do you want to change time and make your life easier? Okay. Like, there is some big time decisions that the Survivor producers made in that year off, where they're all in a Zoom meeting and they were just throwing ideas out there, and they said yes to every single idea and put it in one season. I do get that. I also get that all Survivor fans just came off of season 40, the biggest season ever, the winners against the winners.
Yeah.
Like, what more could you want? And then we have all this time off. We're in the middle of a pandemic. Nothing is going on. Holy crap, Survivor's coming back. Finally, life might be normal again. And you guys get this, that expectation absolutely right, Bailey. It ruined what 41 could be. However, when I'm watching it, yes, I can throw away some of the silly twists and thank God it never came back. The same reason I watched season 38 and I enjoy it. The same reason I watch some of the Redemption Island stuff that we haven't even gotten to yet, that I enjoy that too. Like, that stuff I don't like. I don't want that to play in Survivor again. The fire tokens, I don't want those back. However, watching it not live, that season 41 and seeing everything that happened, I was a little bit more okay putting it to the side. Okay, we're never going to do the do or die role ever again. I'm okay with that. But what sold season 41 to me is it is a character season. The characters at the beginning are so funny. And then Shannon Ricard's run is unbelievable. Two people that I want brought back for future seasons are Shan and Ricard. They are so conniving in the best way, in the best Survivor way, and such a sneaky villainous duo in Survivor that it was captivating to me to watch. And Shan coming out saying, I sing a little song in my head when I do bad things. Like, I fell in love with it. I wanted so much more of it. And so that's why it's as high for me. And I understand people that don't like it, especially Survivor fans that watch this stuff start to finish. I'm watching this all, imbibing it through a fire hose. And 41 to me, the changes made did not turn me off as much as other people. And I think it was it's right in the middle, man. It was perfectly fun for me to watch, and right in the middle.
I think,
but
I want to just say, I want to say one thing about what you said, because I think you made a very good point. And, Waffle, Iron, Walrus, say that 5 times fast, also just said this, of like, season 40 really killed the vibe of 41. And you said that. I think that's so valid. And I think that I didn't necessarily pick up on that because of the time in between and because I was watching in real time. But I think that it's the same with season 49 before 50. It's the same type of thing of this overshadowing when you have this season either before or after of all the winners coming back. I would also like to say, I think my personal issue with 41 a little bit too was during COVID when I was at home, I rewatched almost all of Survivor. That's what I did during COVID. I did 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzles, and I watched Survivor almost every single day. So I think because I had just done that rewatch too, and it all was so fresh in my mind of some of these iconic seasons, then immediately going into 41, that was also why I was just a little like, I just watched the winners at war. Like, I just watched Heroes and Villains. Like, I just rewatched all these seasons. So then I was just a little like, And I think, but I hear what you're saying. And this is why I love talking about this with you, is because we have such a different perspective over these things, and I've watched them at different times. And it is interesting how much what you're going through at your time in your life can affect your viewing of something, or, just the status of the world or whatever. It can really affect that. And I think that's very telling right now as we're going through this. But overall, I hear you. I respect it.
Well, Bailey, as we head into the top 20 here, I have not said season 50's name. So season 50 makes the top 20. And I have to ask you before I unveil the next slide, does season 50 in the hands of the fans make your personal top 20?
It does. I had it ranked at number 18. Uh,
18.
Maybe I'm just a sucker for returning player seasons because that's almost all of them are in my top 20. Not all, but almost all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved 50. I know it got a lot of slack and it got a lot of hate, but again, it's so near and dear to my heart. And because we went to so many like viewing parties and stuff too, I felt so immersed in 50 and so a part of the community while watching that I think that did affect my lens with it too. And I thought it was kind of the first time in the past like 10 seasons we really got to see a lot of OG Survivor again. We got to see these call outs and accolades to like the old school style play and the new school like being blended together. I thought was a very interesting thing to watch for the first time that we hadn't seen before. So I will always hold 50 in super high regards, but I get why people don't put it in their top 20, but I'm glad you and I agree. I absolutely put it there.
Well, it is not 18th for me, but as I go through my top 20, season 50 does make the list. It is. Overall, my top 20 is as follows, 20 to 11. Number 20 is season 19, Samoa, the introduction of Russell Hands. Number 19, season 46, Play Your Idol. That is Kenzie's victory season. Number 18, season 27, Blood versus Water, the first one, followed quickly by number 17, season 29, San Juan del Sur. Number 16 for me is season 17, Gabon. People don't like Gabon, and they are wrong. Number 15, the highest, or at least one of the highest early seasons, season 6, The Amazon. Number 14, it is Earl's victory and carried by Yao Man, season 14, Fiji. Season 14 comes in at 14th. I just noticed that. Number 13 for me, season 47, The Underdogs. That is Charlie. And oh no, that is season 47 is not Kenzie's season. That is Rachel Lamont's season. Again, this is why you need to theme your seasons. I had to make these themes myself, Survivor, Underdogs, and I'm getting confused at what I named at the different seasons. But season 50, for the audio listeners at home, comes in at number 12 overall on the list for me. And the season that was so hard to keep out of the top 10 is one of my favorite people in Survivor history. Number 11 is season 7, Pearl Islands, and the introduction of Rupert. This is the toughest part of the list, Bailey, because I want to hold the top 10 in high regard. I want to be able to like frame that list of top 10 Survivor seasons. And there are a couple of them here that I think could be a lot higher, but it's so hard to make this change. And so this is my top 20. Do we want to talk about season 50 at the beginning? Season 50 MVP Rizzo. That's what Walrus says. I have season 50 so high because watching it again, I rewatched it before I made these rankings.
Yeah.
It is going to be remembered for how goddamn funny it is. And like purposefully funny. The editors had a field day with the stuff that they were given. From the cuts to Charlie going Maria, and then Rizzo realizing that Charlie hasn't forgotten about Maria, and Rizzo saying how he turned on his best friend, and the cut to Charlie in the dark just staring off into the distance. You don't know if those two shots happened at the same time, but the editors made you feel it did and told a story. Everything Christian does during this season is 10 out of 10 stuff. And it is so awesome to watch these characters, a perfect returning cast, return, because we also say goodbye to some of Survivor's absolute legends. The fact that we open with such an absolute Emmy Award worthy opening montage of all the seasons, and then we land on current day Jenna, who also is the first person eliminated because she comes in trying to play an old version of Survivor in a new version of Survivor. And then Cirie and Ozzy, how they last so long and yet are still defeated by their own hubris in the end, especially with Ozzy. Like, we get to say goodbye to these characters. We're never going to watch Cirie play Survivor again, Ozzy play Survivor again, Coach play Survivor again, and they said goodbye in such perfect ways for their characters' arc in this beautiful show. Colby, too, just wonderful swan songs for these Survivor legends. And then we had the new era, all these people returning for the second time, making their absolute mark Rizzo is Rizzo because of season 50, not 49. Jonathan improves so much in season 50, whether you like him or not. He destroys this season. There are so many players on here, Tiffany, that made their absolute mark on this season. And yes, I didn't love the Jimmy Fallon, whatever it was called. I didn't love the Billie Eilish Boomerang Idol and how it destroyed Genevieve's game. Absolutely. But watching it back and seeing the absolute just gift, the love letter that the Survivor editors wrote to the players on this season. Even if you don't like Steph, she has a wonderful arc on this season as the returning heroine in Survivor's eyes. And then it's capped off with the absolute crowning achievement, the Lifetime Achievement Emmy, Oscar for Aubrey, who comes out with the victory, a deserving victory, even though I probably would have voted for Jonathan, a deserving victory for Aubrey for what she does, taking out the studs at the end and finding herself in the finish. Season 50, I'll never watch the Zach Brown Reward Challenge ever again. However, it deserves the 12th spot to me because it is just a perfect piece of television, really sees craftsmen making their art form with the way this story is told to you. That's why I feel like I'm going to have to defend 50 being that high for me in the internet community, but I'm okay defending it because I really enjoyed it.
I completely agree with every word that just came out of your mouth. I have actively defended it to multiple people that think it's a crappy season. And again, I'm like, okay, you can think that, but here's why I think it's phenomenal. And it's pretty much just re-explaining everything that you just said, because it's my again, the editing. Like, if they don't win an Emmy for Survivor this year, they're crazy. They're crazy. Like the through the hammock and Suri telling Jonathan she's going to punch him in the face. And there were just so many epic points that, we've said enough about it, but I agree with you fully. And I like that you ranked it there. My biggest issue with these 10, and you already called it out, but Pearl Islands not being in the top 10 is truly shocking to me, because I feel like that is one of the most iconic seasons of Survivor ever. I mean, we have Johnny Fairplay, arguably in the top 5 of the best villains of all time. The whole dead grandma bit came from this season. Sandra winning is insane. Like Rupert and his tie-dye shirts. Like, so much of iconic Survivor came from Pearl Islands. So it's something that, again, I have always held. I have it ranked 4th on my list because Pearl Islands will honestly always be in my top 5. So I'm curious to hear. And again, I know it's getting very difficult right now. I would also love to say that one of my other favorite top 10s that normally does not get included in top 10 is in your top 10. And we'll get there in a second, but that makes me happy. No, for the most part, I agree with a lot of this. Blood versus Water
let's stay on Pearl Islands for a second, because it's absolutely a wonderful cast of characters. Waffle Iron coming in saying Rupert Fairplay, Boy Scout Lillian, and the best player in Survivor history, Sandra. I have a lot of disagreements with that sentence, but season 7 is so great. And the characters are wonderful. Starting off the season, and they're in a village where they have to barter for goods, and Rupert's stealing shoes. Like, it's so awesome. And I love the outcast bit. For as much as we hate Edge of Extinction, making a tribe of people who had just been voted out and having them compete in a challenge, and then suddenly if they win, 2 people come back. I loved it. I loved it. And then having Lil spoil it all at the end because she decides to keep Sandra instead of Johnny. When I know people say they would have voted for Johnny. Bullshit. They were not voting for Johnny. No. Lil wins if she takes Johnny to the final. It's wonderful, Bales. It falls apart. It doesn't fall apart. It's so hard to crack this top 10 for me, is because it's that old school gameplay where we kind of know what's going to happen. And that outcast comeback really changes things. Like, it really shakes things up. But out of all the seasons we've had so far, the only top 10 season that makes my top 10 is Palau. And that's because the gameplay is so, we know what's coming. Like, we can tell what's going to happen. And you've seen most of the early seasons, all the single digits are gone, and Pearl Islands is the highest for me out of the single digits because it's the cast of characters that carries it. Same thing with season 6, The Amazon. You love watching these characters. There are some bad people in season 6, The Amazon, but it's very entertaining to watch them all play it out and be on television. But the gameplay is what holds it back. Again, I'm coming in here in 2025, 2026, watching these, so I understand what's to come. And I'm watching season 48 and 49 as I'm watching these on a repeat. So I understand the craziness that is about to happen and the intricacies of this game. And so season 7, Pearl Islands, doesn't have that, sadly. And when Rupert goes home, it's wonderful. He just starts, him and Johnny yelling at each other on the beach. It's awesome. But it's the gameplay that holds it back. So that's my decision on that. I am happy though, because people are they're usually Gabon for me is one that I have to defend.
Yeah.
I think Gabon is a fantastic season because I fell in love with Sugar. I also really like the winner and what happened there. And I also love, we talk about China so much. Gabon is a love letter to the place that they are, the setting, the nature walks that Bob goes on, and the drone helicopter shots that they have of it, and the challenges themselves built into the natural hillsides and greenery that you have. Gabon is gorgeous. That it's one of the most famous confessionals in Survivor history. When I forget his name, he was a weird dude anyway. But the elephant comes in the screen behind him just to get a drink of water. Like, that's Survivor, man. That felt so much like Survivor. Plus, the gameplay is on point. Not the best people. I don't like the Randys of the world, but absolute wonderful, wonderful season of Survivor to watch back. I'm really a big fan of Gabon. So is there anyone's on here, Bailey, out of this this middle 20 here? Is there anyone on here that you have way lower on your individual list?
The only one I had lower was Fiji, honestly. Fiji just has never, it was so twist heavy. I really only cared for Yao-Min. Like, I didn't really like the Four Horsemen alliance. Like, there was just a lot of factors of that season that just didn't do anything for me. In all honesty, it's one of the few that is very forgettable for me. I had to do a lot of rewatching around season 14 of Fiji. Like, I watched a couple episodes of it because I was like, I don't remember a single person on this season except for Yao-Min. Like, so I just think I don't know if it's because I didn't resonate with the people or what it was. It's just always been kind of forgettable for me. So I ranked Fiji at 39. So that one is pretty high up. But the rest of these I really agree with. Blood versus Water. I love that concept because, again, just bringing in a different factor to the human condition, the psychology of it all. Like, I would kill to have a Blood versus Water in this new 50 eras. I think we have more than enough people to do it. I think you'd have tons of great cast of characters coming back with people in their families that would happily come. And I would love that. So I really agree with all of this, honestly. San Juan del Sur, I have in almost the same place. Hands of the Fans, I have in the same place.
San Juan del Sur, yeah.
I do too. I think this is a great 11 through 20.
I hear you on throwing Fiji down a little bit. I think I fell in love with the characters, the cast of characters that were there. I loved Dreams getting caught in his own world and failing at the very end to actually put it all together, and so many people disliking him. Earl having the absolute perfect game, like a perfect game out of the winner there. And then I was a big Yao-Man fan from start to finish. I think he's so enjoyable to watch and so sneaky and like, he's a great Survivor player, and so unexpected for him to come out and be such a threat at the end. Before we get to the top 10, I want to knock out a few of the comments. Again, if you're watching this live, we've gone an hour so far to break down all 50 seasons of Survivor. And we thank you if you're watching live on YouTube. If you're listening on Spotify as well, join us on YouTube every Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific, where we will be breaking down different episodes of Survivor Season 51. We're coming back tomorrow with a special episode where I'm ranking every single winner in Survivor. So we're really attacking this on live on YouTube. Feel free to watch it after the fact. It'll hopefully be just as entertaining. But if you want to make fun of me in the comment section, come on to live 9 a.m. on YouTube every Thursday. Hands down, Survivor says Shambo and Dave Ball were great characters as well. Samoa is definitely a top 20. Fantastic cast of characters. Russell, not a good person. However, fantastic person to watch. Gabon Randy was the perfect villain, according to Waffle Iron Walrus. I despised Randy, but he does make great television.
He is
Blood versus
awful.
Water. Blood versus Water works really well. It is by far my favorite theme. I wish they would bring it back. Also, Ryan says Gabon is so underrated, such a train wreck. I love it. It is an absolute train wreck, dude. It is
Train
so
wreck.
much fun
Yep.
to watch. And then lastly, KC writes, Johnny Fairplay really carries the Pearl Islands. Burton is also super underrated from that season. I feel no one ever talks about him, but he and Fairplay ran most of the post-merge together. Burton is awesome in that season,
Yeah.
and he's the reason, not Lil, that the outcast tribe thing really works, because he becomes a huge threat where Lil kind of snakes her way to the finish, taking out Andrew Savage. Andrew Savage, also a fantastic character from Pearl Islands. But yeah, it's very fun to watch the outcast tribe work out because Burton's a huge part of it. And so let's go now, though, to the top 10 seasons in Survivor history, including number one that I know I'm going to have to defend personally, but it has to do with how I watched the seasons here. But the top 10 seasons in Survivor history, as we hit an hour and 5 minutes on this live recording, are as follows. Number 10, season 16, Micronesia, the Black Widow Brigade. Number 9, season 18, Token Teens, the first introduction to Coach. Number 8, season 33, Millennials versus Gen X.
Wow.
Number 7, season 34, The Game Changers. Number 6, my favorite early season and arguably my favorite winner, season 10, Palau. Number 5, season 28, Cagayan. Number 4, returnee season 20, Heroes versus Villains. Number 3, season 31, Second Chance. Number 2, season 13, The Cook Islands, where they separate them by race and introduce you to so many characters that become Survivor legends. And then number 1 is season 40, Winners at War. Bailey, before you go, number 1, season 40, Winners at War is number 1 for me because of how I watched these seasons of Survivor.
Okay.
I watched them all week after week after week, making recaps on my TikTok and my Instagram. And when I got to season 40, I had spent 40 weeks imbibing Survivor as fast as I could. And it is, we talk about season 50 being a love letter to Survivor. Season 40 is an absolute home run of a love letter to the 40 years or 40 seasons of Survivor previously to it. Did I like Extinction Island and the fact that they had to live there afterwards and then Natalie comes back at the end? No, I didn't like that. Did I like the fact that the newer era of winners bands together off screen in order to take out the older era of winners and blindside them? No, wasn't a huge fan of that. However, when they are on Extinction Island and you get those long drawn out stories with Ethan, with Parvati, Ethan talking about the cancer that he came back from. You have Amber talking about how much Survivor has changed her life and the family she has now. You get Boston Rob being old, like flat out being like not the old Boston Rob that we remember. In fact, he is now middle-aged Boston Rob. Like, you get to see, I talked about how you get to say goodbye to the Cerise, the Aussies, and the Colbys in season 50. This is the love letter and the final goodbye to all these great winners that built Survivor on their backs. And does it make new epic champions like Tony? Tony cements his status as one of the all-time greats because of this season. Same thing with Michelle, a person that I did not like her first victory. She cements herself as an absolute contender by making it to the final here. Natalie cements herself as an absolute physical beast no matter what show she's on from what she does here. Like, there are absolute legends that are made this season. And yes, the fire tokens and the little things that are added and the fact you could buy an idol and stuff like that. No, didn't really enjoy all that. But it is such an absolute perfect send-off to the first season of Survivor and does mark the end of the old era with it's the Avengers Endgame of Survivor seasons. And I think it works so well. But obviously you don't believe it should be number 1. Where do you have season 40 on your list?
I love season 40. It was in my top 10. I have it at 7, which I think is a very respectable place for it to be, because I agree with everything you said. I love Winners at War. Do I think it's the best season of Survivor? No. I think undoubtedly Heroes versus Villains is the best season of Survivor ever. That's what I have as my number 1. Heroes versus Villains is such just OG Survivor, the people on that island and what they do, and the good people versus the bad people. Like, just the whole way that it was set up. Where you're giggling at me, but I mean,
No,
we
I
have
love it.
Harmony,
Yeah.
Russell, Sandra, Boston Rob, Sari, Rupert, Tyson. Like, everyone is on this season, and it's just, it's just iconic. And I will also say, I think Micronesia needs to be ranked higher because that is my all-time favorite alliance ever, the Black Widow Brigade.
Oh, yeah.
It's hands down my favorite alliance. I love that the women actually stayed together in that season. There were so many previous seasons to 16 where all the women were like, should we do a women alliance? Should we do a women alliance? They don't do it. This one, they go, hell yeah, let's do it. And they run it, and it's iconic. So I honestly think I would just swap those two. Like, I'd put Micronesia higher, Winners at War a little bit lower, and everything else I pretty much agree with, except for Millennials versus Gen X. That's far too high.
Let's hold on. We'll get into that in a second. Season 16, first off, we have some of the commenters. The commenters are going crazy, of course, at the top 10 of the list. Heroes and Villain is not even top 3. It's so good. I have it 4th. I don't think if you're mad at it not being top 3, it's 4th. That's okay. I understand if people who are not a fan of season 40 Winners at War, and we'll talk about game changers in a second, but Micronesia being 10th for me, it's truly a staple of Survivor. Like, if you're giving a friend a handful of seasons to watch to understand Survivor, you're giving them season 16 as one of those picks. What kills it for me, or at least kills it as in knocks it down the top 10, like God forbid it's not, top 1 or whatever. What hurts it for me is splitting hairs. It's the same reason why I have season 8 All-Stars out of the top 20. I am here to watch these players play, and I think 3 people get medevaced in season 16, which forces Survivor to build in not a final 3, but a final 2. Survivor, if that's a final 3, Sari wins this season. We know how this works. And Parvati only wins because of how many people had to get medevaced during that season and build it into what it is. It's also a concept that hurts. It's a concept that hurts the players that are already in there, fans versus favorites. Like, it is a concept that naturally builds to the favorites. And so you're already setting off half of the island on the wrong foot. Yeah. So all of that stuff gameplay-wise takes it away from me. As for entertainment, it is a phenomenal season. But that's why it sticks back at number 10. Millennials versus Gen X, Bales. This is my David versus Goliath. This is my group of characters that I would watch play 20 episodes of Survivor, 30 episodes of Survivor. I loved Jay. I loved Michaela. I loved the split between the old and the young. I loved everything about this season.
David and Hannah.
On it.
Yeah.
David and Hannah, absolutely. And then who were the Taylor and what was the girl's name? The little love thing that they had, the little love connection that they had.
Oh,
it's so much fun. Millennials versus Gen X. It is so much fun. The people that are on this island and the people that the way they play, it's fantastic gameplay. Like, there are side swipes and backstabs left and right. People don't know what's up and what's down. People get blindsided. It has one of the best GIFs in Survivor history where Michaela just looks at Jay. Did you do that? And he goes, yeah, I did do that. And she gives him another look. Like, it is so great. And you don't like it though, Bales.
It's not that I don't like it. It's just I had it ranked at 27. Like,
Figgy, thank you, hands down Survivor. Figgy and Taylor, Tay Figs. How could I forget? Figtails. No, that's what it was. Figtails. Yeah.
Figtails. Yeah, thank you. I just wouldn't put it in my top 10. I do like the concept of it. And again, talk about wanting different themes for the upcoming seasons. I'd love another one of this to do Millennials versus Gen Z, and have the Millennials be the older ones this time, or I think it's a very interesting concept. And yes, a lot of incredible people that have been on it that I would love to watch again. But just in terms of actual gameplay, like when we're talking about Winners at War, or we're talking about Palau or Micronesia even, I just feel like there was so much more iconic strategic things that we had never seen before. And so a little bit with Millennials versus Gen X, I was like, yes, this is entertaining and it's a good season, but it just didn't make it into the top 10 for me again as something that like when I was thinking of my top 10, I'm just like, what are the moments that I remember the most in Survivor? What are the things that have stuck out to me for 20 years that I've thought about? And that doesn't really have any of those moments for me. Is it a great season? Yes, but it just, yeah, I just wouldn't put it that far up. But I hear you for doing it. Like, I understand why it's there.
People also don't love Palau because they believe like Tom is a boring winner, and fully get that. He destroys, just dominates this season. However, and they also believe that the boiling down one tribe that just constantly loses to one is pretty boring. People have made that defense. To me, I absolutely adored the story Survivor told during Palau. The getting down to the tribe of one, the first time we meet Stephanie and Bobby John and trying to figure out how it's all going to work out. The fact that that's the first ever time we see a fire making in Survivor, and it's those two to figure out who is that tribe of one. Her having to spend that night alone on the island by herself, the first ever exile type island we've had. It's built into the actual show. And then her getting the tree mail saying you've made the merge, and just the emotion washing over her. And then she enters into Palau, and immediately we kickstart a season that has like, you don't know what the tribe is until they go to tribal. Well, guess what? Now you're all in the merge. So everyone's going to tribal at once. And now this game is starting to go with all these different angles. And Tom, the unbelievable captain firefighter, like you couldn't, if you made this archetype into a movie, people would say it wasn't believable. He destroys this entire season. He kills a shark, Bailey. And then he keeps going, and he brings with him one of the all-time GOATs into a final where she gets ripped apart at Final Tribal with all these great people around, all these great characters. It is a joyous moment in Survivor, a joyous season. That's why it's the highest out of the top 10 for me. I'm mad it's not top 5 because I will stand for Palau every single time. I'm
right there with you.
Of Palau. You like Palau as well?
I love Palau, and I always get negative feedback when I talk about that. It's in my top 5 or top 10 for sure.
Yeah.
People always are like, that's a hot take. And I'm like, is it? That's just always been one of my favorite seasons. I just feel like again, it's iconic and it's old. There's just so much OG Survivor there. But I feel like by season 10, so many of the kinks had already been worked out that they had been facing in the earlier seasons. So I thought 10 was really when we kind of saw the compilation of all the things that were going right and the elimination of the things that were going wrong. And now we just got to see insane, awesome gameplay from people that had watched previous seasons and understood a little bit more what they had to do. So I thought that was just like the fire was lit under that season's ass, and it just from the get-go was exciting. You know, Steph at that time too was like, she was so iconic. Like, she's still iconic, but I just mean Steph was like America's she was America's sweetheart, you know, at that time. And so it's like at that time, and I just remember like looking up to her as like a strong, athletic woman on my television. And at that time when that came out, like, you didn't see a lot of that. So like, Palau will always be one of my faves. So I like that we agree on that hot take.
There are also people that really don't like season 34 Game Changers. And again, I am not watching this live, so I don't understand why people were so mad when it aired. But so many people got screwed in Game Changers, says Ryan in the comments section. Sari getting voted out with 0 votes is absurd. Game Changers is too high, also says Ryan. The advantages broke the game. Hands down Survivor, says Malcolm got screwed in Game Changers big time. However, Waffle Iron Walrus says justice for Brad Culpepper in Game Changers. Listen, man, we talk a lot, I talk a lot about not having seasons ranked high because I don't enjoy watching the players. Game Changers and Second Chance, to me, are in the same ballpark of, this is Survivor on expert mode. And the players in these seasons absolutely destroy each other in the best possible way. Like Brad Culpepper, it's such a flawed, like, it's, you know, you go see the Odyssey and you see flawed heroes and how can they get over their flaws. That's Brad Culpepper in season 34 Game Changers. If Brad Culpepper does season 34, in Palau, he might win all the votes. Like he might be a unanimous victor for the first time ever. Brad Culpepper destroys the field, but rules with such an iron fist that it costs him the game at the end. Lucina comes in and she herself decides to change things that haven't worked for her and decides to play a new way and wins the game because of it. Even the players that I didn't really enjoy watching the first go around in season 34, they all come with guns holstered, ready to blow holes through each other. And it is so interesting to watch. Same thing in season 31, Second Chance. It's built into the title itself. These people got screwed over the first time. Now they're coming back, and this is their second chance to win. And we see the best gameplay out of most of them. This is what makes Kelly Wentworth. This is what makes Jeremy, obviously, are these moments in Second Chance. And so season 34 and season 31 to me are tied together because of how wonderful the gameplay is and how devastating it is. Like you could not make a single mistake and survive in those two seasons. So that's why I have them in such high regard. I didn't like that Cirie, the great Cirie, got idled out, but she lasts that long with Michaela because she's playing so well. And it's one mistake that costs her everything. It's so good. So you love Game Changers as much as I do, Bales?
I like Game Changers. I did not have it ranked as high. I actually had it ranked at 19. I think solely because of two specific moments. The Cirie moment getting idled out. I just thought that was so dumb. Like I remember watching that live at the moment. I'm almost fairly certain I threw my remote at the TV. Like I just was like, are you kidding? This is so dumb. There's no fail safe or like something that we've thought about like to make sure that didn't happen. But then again, it's an iconic moment in history. And then obviously the Varner and Zeke tribal, you know, watching that in real time and just having your heart drop to your stomach. Like, I think something about those two specific moments almost like cast this little bit of a gray shadow over that season for me personally. Was it incredible television? Absolutely. But I think those two moments, I just made me feel so icky, both of them, that it has impacted the overall season for me. But I hear you and I understand why you have it ranked where it is. It's just something that it's hard for me to say that's one of my favorite seasons when it's two of my least favorite moments in Survivor history.
No, that's fine. That's really fine. I fully understand that. I don't see the Cirie situation as poorly as you do because, again, I'm not watching it live and I'm seeing this unfold on replay and I'm like, oh my God, this is the craziest exit ever. So I guess I wasn't in throw my remote at the TV mode, but the Varner situation is disgusting to watch. And to me, it's such a time capsule in what was going on at the time to see that conversation unfold in front of my eyes. So I was less shocked and on Twitter and trying to figure out what's going on live when you're watching it all on replay. So I guess it won't hit as hard in my heart, hurt me as much as seeing it on replay. The last two seasons I want to talk about before we wrap this show up are the two newbie seasons. In season 18, Token Teens, season 13, I have as high as number 2, Cook Islands. Cook Islands is my favorite newbie season. It is so much fun to watch the mutiny take place where they ask, do you want to leave your tribe and go to the other one? And it sends the I-24 onto an absolute whirlwind of defeating everyone in their space. And it has one of the best final three, or I should say two of the final three, in Yule versus Aussie and who wins. And then Token Teens, like, this depends how you feel about Coach. If you like Coach, you're going to love this season. If you don't like Coach and think he's a little bit of a clown, then this season's going to be lower. JT and Steven run a fantastic game, so it's fun to watch gameplay-wise. I also love Taj, but Coach is the reason why this is in a top 10 season. He is unbelievable television. Bales, the best casting decision Survivor ever made. So what do you have to say about Cook Islands and Token Teens here, Bales?
I had Cook Islands just a little bit lower, but honestly, I'm kind of right there with you. I had Token Teens at 6, so I think we have that ranked fairly similarly there too. And I mean, we've talked about this in length. Is Coach my favorite player? Debatable. But is he incredible television? Absolutely. And so I agree with you. Watching him and watching JT on that season, like, it's good game. And talk about, like you said, people really coming out to play. I did feel that
Yeah.
way in season 18. It felt like, again, everyone was ready to dominate, and it wasn't people trying to play the middle. It was people not being afraid to be a threat almost. And there's something about that I think really kept the momentum through that season. So I always will put that pretty high up. So I'm really surprised actually at how much I agree with all of your rankings.
Well, I'm happy to finally get them out there because now, as we wrap up ranking every single season, tomorrow, 1 hour earlier, 8 a.m. Pacific, we are bringing in Mr. Phil Wood himself from Survivor Specialist to go through my top 50 winners rankings. And Phil is going to be very angry at almost every decision I make because his team just went through their winners rankings. So he gets to directly have his list versus my list. But if you want to be in the comment section with us, that will be live on the Survivor Squared YouTube page at 8 a.m. Pacific on Friday, whatever, August 21st. Good thing I had a calendar next to me. If you're listening to this at a later date, we are going to be live on YouTube every single Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific time to go over everything Survivor, have a couple of fun ideas for shows, power rankings leading up to Survivor 51. And then after every episode of Survivor, we will be breaking down the episodes live on YouTube. And again, you can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Music as well. It's going to be one hell of a season. And Bales, I got to say, I kind of enjoyed this little live ride here. What do you think?
I did too. I was a little nervous just because, you know me, I'm a yapper. Sometimes I don't think before I speak. So I was a little nervous.
Yeah,
but
like calling what's her face, Steph an icon or whatever he said.
okay, she was. Okay. I stand by that. We know my feelings about Steph, but I still stand by that. She was.
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to be nice, okay?
Uh-huh.
See, I'm in my head.
You never know
no,
who could
but
be
this was
watching. You never know who could be watching, Bill.
that's the thing. I
Mhm.
know that she has personally disagreed with things I've said on this podcast before, so just trying to watch it a little bit. But I like this version, and honestly, thank you for everyone that is watching live with us and adding their, comments about it, because it's so, I don't know, it's so exciting just to like have you be a part of the conversation with us as well. And I think that fuels Tony and I's conversations too. So it's fun to kind of invite, a new part to this season 2 of our podcast. So I'm happy we did this. I've missed you so much. I've been looking forward to this. I can't wait to just continue to talk about Survivor with you.
And we'll be doing it. We'll be also breaking down The Traitors that is coming out. We'll be talking about Rick Devens and Dia are currently on Big Brother. So there's a lot of reality TV stuff for us to talk about. And again, we have a bunch of guests lined up, interviews from the world of Survivor on this channel that I can't wait for you guys to take part in. It's going to be a fun season. I'm excited about this live adventure that we're going down. But that is it for today's episode, the season 2 premiere of Survivor Squared. Again, Tony Squares online, Bailey Buffs on her end. Give us a follow, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and we will help this channel grow because I'm excited to see where it goes, my friends. But that's it for today. I will see you tomorrow bright and early, breaking down all Survivor winners, and hopefully you guys don't hate my rankings as much as everyone else seemingly does. See you later.